Hey y'all, it's Lena with What's Poppin USA Small Business Support Network. Got a question for you small business owners. Have you ever wanted to take your business global, international, out of your little tiny section of the world and just expand outwards? Well, Leroy Allen, our guest for this week, has done just that. And you know what? You know how I do. I'm itching to find out exactly how he did it. Y'all, let's talk small business. So, y'all, as promised, we have Mr. Leroy Allen here of the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute. And y'all, like I said, he is global. And, most of us small business owners, when we hear global, we're like, what? How did you do that? Right? Because that's everybody's goal is to brand and to be global and to get out there. Right.
Absolutely.
So, Leroy, you and I have met before, but for the masses, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe like what your big boy job was, back in the day, before you became your own boss, right?
Okay.
And before you jumped on this venture, and kind of what made you go this route.
Okay. Very well.
Pretty interesting.
Very well. Lena, before, I step into anything at all concerning what we're able to do right now, I want to say thank you for the invitation. That's the first thing.
You are so welcome.
And thank you also to your audience as well. And of course, our objective here, as they say, is just simply to infuse good times and happy times in someone else's life.
Good vibes.
Absolutely. So that in returns, somebody can infuse good times and happy times in our lives.
Exactly. I concur.
So it's good to be here. I'm going to reintroduce myself again. My name is Leroy Allen. I live in the PG County, Maryland area and have been living in
Prince
the PG.
George?
Prince George's County. Prince George's County, Maryland. And have been living in the PG County, Maryland area now for about 11 years. Born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm a long way from where I grew up.
Baltimore.
All right. East Baltimore, that would be.
Baltimore. You got to say it right. Baltimore.
Baltimore. My entrepreneurial journey and leadership journey started in the finance industry. Yep. And in the finance industry, I served as a financial advisor, and I wore about 3 other different hats to go along with that.
Right.
You know how we do that.
Always.
And, because of my youth, I would say, there were many times.
We don't pray.
There were many times, right, Lena, that managers and group leaders, team builders, and the like would often tell me, hey, Leroy, we like the fact that you do what you do, but at the same time, you need to understand that you need a target audience. You have to have a target audience.
Right.
And, because of my youth, the majority of those conversations, right? Because, we got to start somewhere to get somewhere. We got to start somewhere to get somewhere. And so a majority of those conversations went in one ear and out the other, because the only thing I had in mind was ABC.
Right.
Which is always be closing. So I'm going to sell to anybody.
Right.
And now I've come to a place now in my growth and in my development. So I had to go and do some things.
Discernment.
As an entrepreneur, right? Exactly. So, now I've come to this place now where I'm like, wait a minute, all those things that they were telling me about having a target audience, those things need to be identified, in particular now that we're working with social media.
Right. Oh my God. Yes. Big
Yes,
time.
because there is a thing called also your target audience.
Otherwise, they say you'll be barking up the wrong tree.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
You're
right.
selling, like, I don't know, panty liners to 80-year-old women. You know what I'm saying?
That's
You
exactly
thinking like
right.
that's not the right audience for you,
That's not the
So
right
you
audience
gotta,
for you. Absolutely. So you have to, have a target audience because you have to have somewhere to drive your message. And you want to drive your message to the people who need it the most. And in return, they're going to keep you at the top of their thought process.
right.
So I've come to learn, excuse me, that needs to be identified with that. And so, now that I've learned that needs to be identified, it is the very thing that has put me in a position to understand what it means to leverage money, time, opportunity, resources, and technology.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. So I now understand that. Not only do I understand it, but I know how to talk it. So my interpretation is of such where I know how to do these things
And put it into motion.
and put it into motion and put it
Right.
into motion. So, with that being said, having come from the finance industry and now, as I stand right now and as I sit
Right.
right now, I am a leadership, excuse me,
Right.
I am a global certified leadership coach. And as a certified global leadership coach, what we do is we offer leadership assessment tools and resources to small, medium, and large companies. Is what we do.
Okay, so as I was reading through the website, what
Hmm.
I got from it, coming from a government background, and I did a train the trainer. So
Okay,
I was a trainer and I learned how to train, right? And
absolutely.
so that's almost what I got from your website was like you're a coach's school but I have a couple of questions with that. So am I on the
Okay.
right track? Are
Yes,
your
you
coach's school?
yes, well, see, this is what we have here.
Okay.
We have the consulting side of our business where we
Mm,
consult, as again, a global leadership coach, where we
right.
offer up leadership assessment tools and resources to small, medium, and large companies. And
Okay.
then we have a school called the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute.
R- so you're a twofer. I
That's
got you.
exactly right. That's exactly
Okay.
right. Absolutely. So with the
Okay.
Life Enhancement Coaching Institute, we
Right.
offer, accredited certified life coach courses, executive leadership coach courses. We
Okay.
offer a public speaking course. We offer a Christian development course and a relationship course is what we offer in
So
that.
So are these for people who are already coaches and they need like continuing education, or they're coaches and they're adding on to their repertoire, or are these courses designed for somebody who's starting from like ground zero and they're like, I come to you, Leroy, I want to be a coach, lead me. How does
It's it's for both. It's for
Oh,
both.
okay.
Absolutely. Because right about now, what we have is about close to 18 persons who have come through our program and have graduated, and some holding two different certifications. Some holding two. And so we have that, and we've been doing this now for more than 10 years. We've been doing it for more than 10 years. And
Wow,
so,
you've been around for a minute,
yes,
right?
we've been doing what we're doing now, what we're currently doing now for
I
a
want to
minute now.
harp on that because, I mean, myself, our business developed out of COVID also. But when
Mhm.
I say them COVID businesses, I mean like them crypto scammy
Right,
telegraph type, you know what I mean? And
right,
so
sure, of
I
course.
want to jump on and really just highlight that this is Leroy's business is pre-COVID. You know what I mean? This was not
Yes,
built out of like, oh my God, I lost my job. My kids are at home homeschooling and I need
right.
to come up with a business. You know what I mean? This is not that situation. You
No,
are, you have a background that solidified this entire program.
that would be correct because my higher learning is in marketing and organizational leadership. That's
Mm,
where my higher learning is.
that's a big one. That's big.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. From Regent University.
Yep. That's a
Yep.
big one.
So my higher learning is in that, and we have built our programs to solidify what my
Mhm.
higher learning is, so that in return, I can be an asset rather than a liability to all who come in contact with us and with our brand.
So now let's go back to the consulting side. So I did
Yes,
see that you do have like personal consulting out of Prince George's County for your
yes.
own person as well. So is that also digital or is that in person? And is this the small business angle or is this the coaching angle or is it both for
It's
you?
both. It's both the coaching and the consulting angle.
You're busy.
It's both. It's
You a
both.
busy
Yeah.
man.
I tell you, it's one of those things where I've truly come to understand
Mm.
that if you want to be in business for any length of period of time, you cannot come across as being one dimensional.
You got to put in the right.
You have to put in the work. And that doesn't mean that you know everything. And even if you know some things, there are some situations and settings that you come in contact with, Lena, where you simply need to act like you know nothing at all.
And it's okay to say I don't know the answer to that.
That's
People are
absolutely correct.
will respect you more instead of you bullshitting and blowing smoke up
That's
their
right.
butt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So
That's right. That's exactly right.
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out for you.
But I'm gonna
I'm
find
gonna
out
get
for you.
that answer for you. That's what you need to find. If you don't know, the next thing out of your mouth better be, but I'll forget that. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna find that, and you better follow up.
Oh,
Get
absolutely.
back to them. Don't blow
Absolutely.
that smoke. You know what I'm saying?
And it's always better that if you that you give them a time that you're going to follow up. And let's
Boom.
just say if you say I'm gonna follow
Boom.
up in 24 hours, what you do is you follow up in an hour.
Always be underestimated and over deliver.
That's exactly
How
right.
about that?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I've come to learn also, Lena, that if you stay ready, you will never have to get ready if you stay ready.
Woo!
So I'm so grateful that we have tablets. I'm so grateful that we have cell phones, because if a HR person or promoter call me right now,
Right.
I can go to my tablet, I can go to my
And you have
phone
it at
and
your
pull down a contract and send it right to them ASAP. I
right.
can do that because I've
And
learned the other way doesn't work.
right. And so, and let's talk about timeliness too. Do you
Mhm.
know how many times as small businesses I've reached out to somebody and it'll be like, crickets, crickets, chirp, 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 chirp. And I'm like,
Right,
dude, you got a business? Like,
right,
I was trying to buy something. You just
right,
lost a customer because it took you 5 days to answer your Instagram, but I see you doing
right.
all this all the time. You know what I'm
I
just
do understand.
disconnect. So yes, I love that you say time frame
Yep.
and meet that time frame.
And meet that time frame and meet it
Exceed
it.
it, really. Exceed it,
Absolutely.
really.
Because what it does is it gives you credibility. It gives you credibility. And when you have credibility with your customer client relationships,
Say it.
it
Say it.
gives you the opportunity to
Preach.
monetize and
Preach.
organize the relationship that you are at the top of his or her thought process. And when you are at the top of his or her thought process as it relates to consumer relations, guess what? You get called upon to go to cookouts.
Faster,
You get called upon.
sooner,
Yeah,
everything because you have built that rapport.
rapport, rapport.
That
So the idea of good customer relations is to stay at the top of your consumer relations thought process.
and you may not make that proverbial sale
Right.
the first, the second, maybe even the third contact. But you know
Absolutely.
what, Leroy? When somebody needs some damn coaching services, you know what I mean? Or they need you to come in and consult and
Yep.
assess their business, they're going to be like, you know what? that Mr. Allen was all right. He was on top of ... He got back
Absolutely.
to me.
Yep.
He was friendly.
Yep.
He was
That's exactly right.
timely. He was
Yep.
timely. He was appropriate.
Yep. That's exactly
All of
right.
it. And they're going to be like, you know what? Boom, I'm going to go with him because I
Exactly.
already have that personability, that
With him.
rapport with him,
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right. And what we have to understand is that people don't care about how much you know until you show them how much you care.
Woo!
That's how that goes. It's business, and in that light, you can either be two things. You can be 1% good business or 1% bad.
And guess what's going to get outshined? The 1% good or the 1% bad? Which one is going to stick? You could do 99% right,
Yep.
right? That
Yep.
1% that you messed up,
Yep.
woo, it's going to be
It,
blasted. You're
that's
going to get
exactly right.
chewed. I mean, so really for a small business, you know, any across the board, just
Yes.
minding your P's and Q's. Again, that business etiquette, that customer
Yes. This
service,
is
that
etiquette.
how would you treat your grandma?
How about
You know
that?
what I'm saying?
How about that? How would you treat your grandma? Empathy comes into play with a lot of things that we do these days. Empathy comes into play with a lot of things that we do these days.
If you can connect with your customers in a meaningful way, you know, even if it's just you start with comment. I mean, if we take it just to social media, you start commenting on their posts, you're engaging. They're going to be like, oh,
Right.
this person's all right. They showing a little bit of interest in me. So
That's
then
exactly right.
after the third or fourth time, they're gonna go to your page
How about that? That's
and they're gonna
exactly
look
right.
up and say, "Who is this person that's liking my stuff?" And they might like a couple of your stuff, but they're not gonna follow you yet. But you
Right.
keep on liking their stuff.
Yep.
I'll tell you, y'all gonna be like this in a minute. Y'all gonna be liking and like buddies, right?
Absolutely.
But that's how
Absolutely.
it begins. It's
That's how
sowing
it
the seeds.
begins.
It's
Absolutely,
sowing
Lena.
those
You couldn't have
seeds.
said it a better way because you know your best opportunity is availability. Your best opportunity as a leader, as an entrepreneur, is availability.
Do you know the number one thing I hear when I respond back to somebody by email? They say to me, "Oh my God, thanks for getting back to me." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like,
Exactly.
are there business
Exactly.
owners that don't get back to their people or
Oh, for
back to
sure.
their
For
like
sure. Absolutely.
I don't that's not in my I mean, I'm not talking about spammy bullshit that comes in. I mean like
Right.
legitimate customers. Like, how do you not do that?
Exactly, exactly. Because see, at the end of the day, like I said early on, you want to be at the top of the thought process of your customer relations. You want to be at the top because if you can leverage your money, your time, and your relationships properly, excuse me, if you can do that properly, what that means is that you become an effective leader, and you're leading by way of a cycle rather than a straight line.
You're leading by example
You're
also.
leading by example, my point exactly. So you have a system now of people coming and going. And as they say, the more people you see, the more lucrative your business is going to be.
I
That's how
love
that
it.
goes with that.
I love it. I love it. So I want you to tell me about this small business consulting. I'm intrigued, right?
Okay.
So if I came to you and I said, "Oh, Leroy, I need you to come in and my stuff is all," what is it that you would do? Would you come in and organize? Like, are you looking at like, do you have standard operating procedures? Are
Yep.
you have this in place? All of your, you know, your
Yep.
higher ups. Do you
Yep.
have like what is it that you're? Because I know you said you're organizational management, and so I'm thinking
Yep.
like you're like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the first thing that come into play with our company is we want to be able to learn what your objectives are.
mm, okay,
From there, what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call a needs assessment. A needs assessment.
okay,
So we want to know where your strengths are. We want to know where your weaknesses are. We want to know that your intentions are good, to follow through and to follow up. We want to know that if we invest in you, you in return will invest in somebody else. So with that being said, what we do is we go through what I call a vetting process. You know, absolutely. You know how if you have ever hired a particular
It's like a
person,
job, like
that's exactly right.
a
You take
job
them through a
interview.
vetting process. And the reason why you take them through a vetting process is simply because you want to know what's important to them and you want them to know what's important to you, because this is a two-way street here.
A lot of times, though, people get into, like they go to a coach
Uh-huh.
or a mentor, and
Uh-huh.
they just expect this person to just and and so it be done. And
Right.
that's not the way it happens. They
Not
don't
at
really,
all.
the small business owner doesn't realize how much can work,
Absolutely.
time, investment, energy, tears, brainstorming up at night. I mean, the whole
The
thing
whole
goes
nine.
into this mess. It's not just a Instagram instantaneous overnight kind of thing. And a lot of
Mhm.
times when folks go to coaches or mentors, they push that burden off on the coach
Right.
to do whatever. And that's not the coach's job.
No, it's not the coach's job. Here's one thing that I have come to learn in some of the people that I've coached and consulted with. I've come to learn that a lot of entrepreneurs, whether they are emerging entrepreneurs or
Mhm.
seasoned, Lene, I've come
Mhm.
to learn that the one thing that they are missing is strategy.
Mm.
They're missing strategy. When we
Is it,
take
you
them
mean
through
like a plan, like a foresight of
exactly,
what they're.
exactly. And
Yep.
these are some people that I have seen are making good money, but they don't have strategy, which means that if they don't have strategy, they're leaving money on the table
And it stagnates.
and it
You
stagnates.
don't grow,
You
you
don't grow.
just stay.
Exactly. So you
Right.
don't have strategy. But see, strategy is better than money in a lot of different ways. Because without strategy, you have no money. You see? And so when we talk about going through a vetting process, when we talk about taking them through a needs assessment process, we're offering them a strategy. And a strategy is a neural pathway that you take to get to your wealthy place, whatever that wealthy place is.
Right, right. Wherever that is for you and your business.
Absolutely. And what concepts do you have in play? What concepts would you like to put in play to help you get there, which are the tools and the resources that will help you get to where you want to be? And so
Mm,
it starts with us of just simply doing that assessment, understanding what your objectives are, and then moving forward with a plan of action. And we say, okay, if we show you 10 ways to make money as an entrepreneur,
right.
because if you don't have strategy, we are of the mindset that you're leaving money on the table. So we show you 10 ways to make money as an entrepreneur. How is it that you're going to help somebody else? How about that? Or
Mm.
are you going to keep the prize to yourself?
I always think that the more, the merrier, the
Hmm.
more you network with, the right, mindset
Hmm.
of people,
Hmm.
that you grow together. You don't,
Absolutely.
I really find, and it could be just me. I always ask folks, you know, being down here in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it could be even just it's a girl thing, but I
Hmm.
feel like folk, like small business owners, are really like
Hmm.
really like catty, really competitive,
Right.
really like you're trying to steal their man or their woman. I'm like, dude, it's just business ideas. We're
Right.
talking shop. Like,
Absolutely. We're
get off
shop
your high
talking.
horse and get that stick out,
Right.
like, and I don't understand it. I mean, I do to a point. I maybe if you've gotten burned so many times,
Right.
or if
Right.
you've got ulterior motives in your head,
In
you
your
thinking
head.
that other person might have them in their
That's
head.
exactly right. That's
Eh,
exactly right. And 10 times out of one, Lena, that's exactly what it is. They have alternative motives in their head. Because what I've
mhm.
come to find is that people enter into relationships for various different reasons.
Woo! Mm.
What I call that is misguided expectations, is what I call it. misguided expectations. And when you have misguided expectations entering into any relationship, business, personal, whatever the case may be, guess what? Your
My
conclusion is going
language,
to be wrong.
you know what? And I tell you, because I have gotten into where I had just recently, I entered into a partnership for a pop-up, and I'm
Mhm.
talking the company that I entered into business with is a $15 million company,
Absolutely.
way more money than I make, right?
Absolutely.
And my expectations as a small business owner
Hmm.
to what a marketing team for a company of that size should, would,
Right.
could do,
Right.
and my expectations were not met.
Hmm.
Like, I was like, "Are you like, I was flabbergasted at, and I called it big business privilege.
Big business privilege.
And I
Like
called
that.
it that. And I coined that because I said, y'all have big business privilege as the big business, and let's just call them Walmart. It wasn't Walmart, but for the sake
Right.
of argument, because I don't want to put their name out there. Y'all
Right.
know
I
who
got you.
you are, motherfuckers. So we'll call them Walmart. So
Uh,
it's like Walmart over here on the corner having a festival, and they don't have to advertise. They don't feel they got to advertise just because they Walmart.
right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, or they don't feel like they have to put forth an effort. I won't even
Right.
say advertise. They feel
Right.
like they don't have to put forth an effort because they are who they are. And because they're having it, people will just come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my expectation was not that.
Right.
I expected a high level of organization,
Of course.
just attention to detail.
Of
I
course.
mean, the crossing the T's, the dotting the I's, the
Mhm.
whole thing, and misguided
Yep.
expectations because they did not meet my expectations like at all. And as a small business owner, I was like, do I say something?
Right.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah. I
Absolutely.
emailed them back and forth. I took a survey of all of the different vendors that attended, and
Yep.
I let them rip this proverbial pseudo Walmart a whole new ass themselves. I didn't have to do it. So, you know, who you partner with, like you said, vetting.
Right. Absolutely.
And just because it looks good and they got a $15 million, you know what I mean,
That's
overhead
right.
or whatever, doesn't mean
Nope.
that they were up to par into the standards
Yep.
of my little small business.
Absolutely. No
Right?
question. And I will tell you, Lena, I was talking in a meeting today, and I brought up the fact that no matter how much of a monopoly that you consider yourself to be as an organization or a company, it pays big dividends to present yourself differently to people. So that way, when you present yourself differently to people, even if it means that you have to restructure, even if it means that you have to reorganize your entire agenda, your entire objective, even if you have to revisit some things, you should do just that because guess
So,
what? When you come to the table the same way, doing the same thing, expecting the same results,
you know
guess what?
what?
You get
And I
disappointed.
will never, I
Yep.
mean, to the point where you're collaborating with the business that makes that amount of money, and
Yep.
they forget to put your logo on the signage.
Right. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
And then they talk about they can't reprint it because it's on their good paper and all. Man, that's some bull. I mean, like,
Oh,
so
absolutely. I get
so
it.
you vet who
Yep.
you work with. And I told the lady, and I said, I want to thank you.
Yep.
And I want to thank you because now I know I've learned a valuable lesson.
Yes.
I know what to look for.
Yes,
I
you
know
do.
the red flags. I
Yep.
know what to ask for. I know what to demand, and I know what to write in that contract. So that way, when it doesn't get executed and my expectations don't get met,
Yep.
it's in black and white writing, and that's it.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, Lena, um, in
Ooh,
relation to what we're
sponsorship.
talking about right now, I wrote a book that will be coming out January the 1st, New Year's Day. Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yes.
And it's titled My Vision is My Weapon. The goal is not the destination, the goal is the process.
The journey, you got that right.
The goal
It
is
is
not the destination, it is the process. And
that's
what I did was I went and presented myself to 6 different people whom I know that
mhm,
graduated from our school,
right.
and I brought them in as co-authors. I brought them in as co-authors. So I'm presenting myself to them in a different way, as we just
And
got
you're
finished talking about,
also paying it forward and
paying it forward.
including them,
Yep,
building that rapport,
yep,
so the
yep,
next time
yep,
they have a function, a program, a
yep,
project, a
yep,
fucking smoke signal, it
yep,
don't matter.
yep,
Leroy is
yep.
gonna be
At the top of their thought process. So I did that, and I brought those 6 people along. And it's a book titled again, My Vision is My Weapon. And a vision is an image of a common attraction. The word vision and potential go hand in hand. Potential is what you haven't done yet.
right.
The first chapter of that book is titled The Progress of Becoming. So
Mm.
check out the relation, the progress of becoming. So now, when we look at the fact that a vision is an image of a common attraction, and potential is what you haven't done yet, and the first chapter of that book being the progress of becoming, that says that I haven't arrived yet, but I'm on my way somewhere.
We all a work in
We
progress.
all are work in progress, and so now, what comes after that is the fact that the goal is not the destination; the goal is the process. And it's a book of 150 pages. It
Right.
has 8 chapters in it, and off of every chapter of that book, you know what the selling point is?
Mm,
The goal is not the destination, the goal is the process.
right. Every time though, because if you think about it, if all you do is savor the end result, all of those bumps and bruises that
Yep.
you're never going to learn from that, and you're just going to keep bumping your hiney every so often because you're not realizing the process.
Mhm.
You're not taking it in. You're not
Right.
seeing what works, what doesn't work. You're not assessing, reassess. You have to do that at every stage
At every
of
stage
you do it not only in your business, you got to do it in your personal
in
life.
your personal, absolutely.
Where I
You
was
absolutely.
where I was at 24 is not where I'm about to be at 51 years old. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
right?
Absolutely.
But think about that as your business. Where
Yes.
you were on day one,
Where
or
you
that inception of, I think I'm gonna start a business today, is,
absolutely.
is different from when 10 years ago to now, right, Leroy?
Oh, for sure.
When you were
Absolutely.
that young one spouting off at the mouth, the financial advisor spouting
Yeah,
out your butt. Remember?
absolutely.
It's a world of growth,
It's
right?
a, it's a world of growth. In fact, I would go as far as to tell any emerging entrepreneur or season,
Mhm.
you're going to make 50 mistakes
A
at a
day,
time before you make one thing right.
a day. Yes, I agree.
And this is why I have told entrepreneurs, emerging and season Lena, hey, listen, one thing is for certain and 2 things is for sure.
Mm,
You will get more on your way than you had before you got started. You will get more on your way. God will give you more on your way than you had before you got started. So you don't have to be perfect to get started.
no, you
You don't
don't.
have to have money to get started. What
You
you
just
need is
have
an
to be.
idea.
You got to be sincere.
You have to be sincere. That's exactly right. You have to be sincere. And that's just the bottom line with all of it. And so you get a chance, to, leverage relationships. You get a chance to leverage opportunity. You get a chance to leverage money and time. And that's what I did, with my co-authors, inviting them. I just leveraged the opportunity, the time, and the relationships.
That's what,
That's all I did.
and you can do that in any arena
In
of
any
your
arena you go into.
anything you go into,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
So for example, my book isn't as deep as yours, right? But
Mhm,
I did like a little girl planner. And
mhm.
so what I did was I pulled in some of my awesome female vendors and I
Right.
actually shouted them out and put their information on different subsequent pages, so that way when the regular woman is writing out her oh, such
Yep,
and such is candles, oh, such and
yep,
such is this, oh, just a little shout out,
yep.
right? And
Yeah.
that's just, I wasn't even thinking about it as in terms of how you actually broke it down and laid it out,
Mhm.
but I was thinking about it. I was
Of
just
course.
doing it
Right.
without knowing the actual terminology behind it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I tell you, each check what I did as relates to the relationship piece of it with them, I made the book so that when they go to speak about it, any of the chapters, no matter whether they wrote it or not, they can
Right,
will speak to a crowd of people, an audience, and get the maximum return on it. Because I
right,
don't know nobody who would
right,
write a book entitle it "My Vision is My Weapon." The goal is not the destination, the goal is the process.
right. And have 8 different people go
Yep.
ahead and powwow
And
on
put
it
yep.
collectively. And so it's from different perspectives,
It's from
different
different perspectives.
journeys, different,
Yep.
you know, different walks. Everybody
It,
has a different path, and
everybody has
experienced
a different
different
path.
things. So I love that everybody's focus, everybody's goal was the same with this, but the way we all got there was completely
Was
different.
completely different. Was completely different.
Yeah,
And that's the beauty of it all, is that it's all coming from a different place and a different set of circumstances.
I
How
love
about that?
yes, but we're all focused on the same thing.
We
How
all
about that?
focused on the same thing,
Even
going in the
though,
same direction.
so I do have another question for
Sure.
you. What do you think
Mhm.
in your time of, coaching over these amount of years, do you find that there's a commonality, like the biggest mistake or stumbling block maybe for both new businesses and
Mhm.
then for new coaches?
Okay. Yep. Yep. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna go back to strategy, but I'm gonna come a
Mhm.
different way with it.
Okay.
What I've come to learn as it relates to being a business owner and also sharing platforms with other business owners and coaches and the
Mhm.
like
Right.
is that yes, many of them are missing strategy, but at the same time, many of them are also unaware of the fact that their products and services will sell themselves. Therefore, what you are selling is perspective. You're selling perspective. So now, as you go about the business of selling perspective, guess what you're doing? You're giving meaning to the overall customer client relationship. And when
Right.
you talk about, taking a person from pain point to touch point, or from pain point to touch point, what
Right.
you're saying to them is, I'm giving you meaning. So therefore, as I'm giving you meaning, I'm giving you value. And who don't want value? Who
Right.
don't want that?
So they're missing that component of seeing.
Exactly.
I
Exactly. They're
got you.
missing that component of seeing. And so if I'm selling perspective and I'm bringing meaning to the overall customer client relationship, what that meaning is designed to do is to keep me at the top of their thought process, so that in return, I get invited again to the cookouts, the banquets, and the graduations, and all of that type of stuff.
But you know what though? A lot of times that comes from they don't know their own worth or value,
Oh,
period.
of course.
And I think that is a huge, like, so for example, the artist that paints,
Yeah,
they don't know their value. They don't know how much to charge for their paintings or their work.
absolutely.
So it
Absolutely.
becomes like I don't know if I want to charge people, or I feel bad about charging people, or
Mhm,
I don't want
mhm,
people to come off thinking I'm a know it
mhm.
all, or
Yeah,
I don't want people to think I'm a bitch or I think I'm too good now because I
right,
got a
right,
small
right,
business, or
right.
because you're gonna hear all that noise. You're
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise. But you know what? I was sharing with somebody this, Lena. I grew up in Baltimore City, and I grew up in a place where I ain't know half of the time who was for me or against me as a child.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't know half the time who was for me or against me. So right about now, I figure like this: if you got to be hating on anything concerning me because of what you see, then guess what? Keep on looking.
Hit the road, Jack.
Keep on looking.
Come back. No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road,
Yeah,
Jack.
because at the end of the day, Lena, I tell you, I had to pay to get what I got. I had to pay for it one way
Can
or
you
the
say
other.
that again?
I had to pay for it.
And it was not, and you've been in this again. I'm harping on this for over 10 years.
That's
So
exactly
you
right.
small business owners who have been in it for 3 months are crying because your shit ain't selling on Etsy. Shut up. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
exactly right. That's
you
exactly
gotta
right.
strategize. You gotta, shift your focus. Are you
Yep.
reaching out to customers?
Yep.
Are you, you know what I mean? Are you engaging?
Absolutely.
How are you drawing them to you? Are you doing a dance? Like, what are you doing? And if you're
That's
not doing
exactly right.
anything but being like, well, here's this cup.
That's exactly right. That's exactly because see, at the end of the day, if you don't have strategy, if you don't have a target audience, if your message is going in one direction and your brand is going in another direction, then what exactly are you doing? What exactly are you saying? Are you saying that you are in favor of just having a hobby, or do you have a business?
Are you in favor of just hustling?
Right, exactly. That's
Are
exactly
you
right.
coming off like that cheesy, sleazy car salesman or that ambulance chasing lawyer or
That's
something
exactly
like
right.
that? You know what I'm saying? Are you
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if you have that mindset, all you're gonna
is
keep
that
doing
vibe?
is coming back around to the same thing over and over and over
Right.
again until you get tired. Until you get tired. And then when you get tired, you're gonna look up and you're gonna say, I done wasted more time and I ain't get nothing for it.
Nothing in return.
Nothing in return. No,
And that's
no return
because
on
you
investment.
don't have that business integrity.
Yep,
You don't have that passion for
yep,
what you're doing behind you. You
yep,
don't have a strategy,
yep.
right?
That's right.
You're not committed for the long
For the
haul. You
long
just did
haul.
it to try to make a couple of bucks and bounce.
Right.
That's not what this entrepreneurial thing is about.
That's exactly right. In fact, I will go as far as to tell you, and this may sound like more about my experience, but one thing that an entrepreneur has to have and embrace it real good, Lena, is delayed gratification.
Oh my God.
You have to be able to embrace that as an entrepreneur. You cannot make $10,000 and eat it up at the same time. You have to be able to practice delayed gratification.
And so I'm gonna go on this soapbox for that one thing, and that means that when money comes into your business, it doesn't go into your car bill, your light
That's
bill, that
exactly
ice
right.
cream, that McDonald's, that new Gucci bag, the pair
Yep.
of Balenciaga shoes. It
That's right.
goes into that business account
Yep.
to go back into your business to
Yep.
reap more, to
Yep.
build more,
Yep.
right?
That's exactly right.
So you have to delay that gratification
Yep.
because that monetary flossing of look, I got a business and I'm making money, right?
Yep.
You got to
Yep.
stop that because that's quick. That goes
Very, very quick. Very, very quick. And in particular, if you are a small business owner with an overhead, it goes so quick it'll make your head spin.
I mean, and you don't even have to have a physical place.
That's right.
Let's just talk about websites, domains,
Yep.
any type of advertising that you're doing. If
Yep.
you're putting out any type of actual literature,
Yep.
brochures or pamphlets or
Yep.
anything like that, if you're traveling, if you're going to trade shows,
Yep.
conventions, festivals, you paying booth fees,
That's
right?
exactly right.
Your
That's exactly right.
materials, all of that stuff costs money.
Yep.
And
And
instead
yep.
of pulling it out of your personal pocket,
Yep. That's exactly right.
Use your business funds for
Yep.
what they were intended for.
For what they were
Your
intended.
business.
Your business. Absolutely.
Your business.
That's exactly right. You use it for your business. You use it to leverage other money, time, and opportunity and technology.
You
You use
got
it
it.
as a leveraging piece, and that brings you into good company. So that when it brings you into good company, guess what? You can use somebody else's money to pay
But
your
and
car
I'm
note.
but still, you could still have the luxuries, like you said, you got the tablet or the phone or whatever.
Right.
Those are business tools,
That's
right?
exactly right. And you have to use them. You have
So
to use them.
you can go get that new phone if it's got an awesome camera and you record like I do and you're going to use it for your business,
That's
right?
exactly
You
right. That's
can
exactly right.
you can get that tablet if you need it to do them contracts or those apps or those programs you got to pay for each month to
That's
do
right.
your to run your business.
That's
Use your
exactly right.
business funds.
I mean, because I will tell you, Lena, I learned the hard way. When I was in the finance industry, people would call me up and say, I want to buy this particular product. I want to buy that particular product. And I would always have everything on my desktop or my laptop, which means that I had to be where it was. And it wasn't always that I was there.
Right, right.
And by the time I get to where I need to be in order to do that, guess what? The sale didn't gone out the
Time
door.
pass and you lock.
And I lost. And so I said, no, this has to stop. So what I did was, if an event planner called me right now, this moment, and say, I want you to come and teach us on sales. I want you to, I go right to my phone or my tablet and send her an already approved contract where all I have to do is change just a few items that will take me less than 5 minutes.
But that is using your business funds,
Yep.
putting into place those
Yep.
business strategies
Yep.
and that business rapport, that etiquette, right?
Yep.
So now whoever's on the receiving end of that contract is going to be like, damn, he fast.
That's exactly right. And that's the response that you want to get.
Every
Because you see,
time.
when you're working with uncertainty, the more proactive you are, the better your business will be.
And I will tell you, that $15 million company kicked me right in the ass
Hmm.
on the back end. But let
Hmm.
me tell you, while I was working with them, oh, Lena, do you have a listing of boom? Do you got a schematic of boom?
Oh,
Every time they
absolutely.
asked me for something, and she was like, wow, you're really on top of stuff. And I'm like,
That's right.
damn, you sure are not. You know
That's
what I mean?
hey,
Like,
I tell you this, I give you this too, Lena, and as well as your audience. Even if I do something pro bono, it's not really pro bono when I get there.
you better put every ounce like you was getting paid. You better put every ounce of energy,
Yep.
gusto,
Yep.
bells and whistles on,
Yep.
just like you were getting paid. It is
That's exactly right.
same exact. There is no free because it's
Nope.
costing you. It might cost you your reputation if you fuck up.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And because I tell you this, Lena, here's what I have learned to do. If I go somewhere pro bono, the first thing I want to know, Lena, is how many people going to be in the room.
Right.
The second thing I want to know is there a sign-in sheet.
Right.
The other thing I want to know is there a price associated of admission.
Right.
Because if the event planner answers me yes to those things, I want every name that's on a sign-in sheet. Not only do I want every name that's on the sign-in sheet, if you're charging them $2,200 to get in the room, why
Run me
not
my
charge them
money
$2,500 and give me the
and
balance
run me my money.
and
Right.
run me my money? You see what I'm saying? So either way, if I'm doing it pro bono, you can best believe I will never show up to an event where somebody hires me to do something and
Right.
not ask them those three major questions.
Right.
Who
Right.
gonna be there? How many gonna be there?
But
Do you have a
how many
sign-in sheet?
times did it take you to get burned when you went to do something free
Oh,
and you did see that's what I'm talking about. That's the lesson that I just learned because I didn't know to
right.
like demand it, to put it in contract, to ask that
Yep.
shit. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that was a
Absolutely,
bump
Lena.
in my road that along my journey I would never trade it
Right.
because that was a learning lesson,
It
and
was
I
a
will
learning
never
lesson.
make that mistake again.
Absolutely. I'm
Amen.
right there with you because I had to learn it as well. But
Mm.
now that I've learned it and I know how to articulate it, oh, it's on now.
Look, burn me once, shame on you. Burn
That's
me
right.
twice, it is my
It's
fault
my
for letting
fault.
you,
That's right. That's right.
man.
You can
And
say that again. You can say
and
it's my fault.
it's my fault. So, Leroy, where can folks find you if they need to get some consulting from you for their small business? They
Okay.
want to strategize and move their business forward,
Mhm.
or even if they're interested in picking up some extra certifications on the
Okay.
coaching side, where
Okay.
can they actually get in touch with you?
They can go to this particular website at leroyallen.org and they will find all of my contact information there. And it's like I said, it's one of those things for me where we are giving off perspective more than anything else. We're not selling products and services, though we are selling products and services, but more than that, because I believe that our products and services will sell themselves. What we're selling is perspective. If we give you reason enough to believe and add and leave you with meaning, then guess what? That assures us an opportunity to be able to serve you.
Leroy,
Yep.
you have an absolutely fabulous rest of your day, hon.
Yep. And you do the same, Lena.
Until next
I appreciate you many times
time.
over. We'll see you in Atlanta real soon.
Oh, cool.